Namaskar. I Shamil welcome you all to your channel Galactic Echoes. So let's start exploring the wisdom of Vedic astrology. So today we'll be doing a new series about the D9 rising. What is the rising in your D9 chart and how will it manifest and how will it lay a basic foundation in your marriage, your life after marriage, or the circumstances which will be leading towards the event of marriage in your life, because we also know that D line is not only related to marriage but also to the higher purposes in your life. What is this spiritual awakening be like in your birth of this? So that is a more broader topic, because the thing is that higher purpose is why related to marriage, because of the fact that the person, when he or she is alone in his or her life, they do not know where to go, how to achieve or what to do in their life. But when they start a family, when they get married, this is the first step for starting a marriage, and when they get into that setup, they then want to travel, and they want to traverse that path towards the higher purpose in their life. They, it's a kind of awakening, but there is a paradox that the path towards awakening is through the marriage, but the marriage itself is too much materialistic. You will get into that loop of karmic loop of that materialism, because of which so many events will be started, so many loops will be started, so many loops will be ended. But that is the nature of life and we have to go with it. So this will be the first episode of the what is the rising in your D9 chart series. So we'll be starting with the Aries and we'll be covering all the way to the Pisces sign day by day. So let's start our video and let's dive in. So what happens when you have Aries ascendant in your D9 chart, in your Navamsa chart? The most basic thing which comes with this Aries rising in your D9 chart is that you will be so much prone to a kind of a transformation. Why? Because the Aries sign, it represents the beginnings. Something is ending and something is getting started. That is why it is the first sign of the zodiac belt, right? So yes, there will be some things which will be started. So what kind of things will be started? Whatever scenarios were prevalent before the marriage in your life will completely dissolve and the new ones will start. This is the number one thing which you will see with this Aries rising in your Navamsa chart. Now the second thing which we have to see is that because it's a Martian energy, so yes, the transformation, the endings and new beginnings will be the theme for you all with this Aries rising in your D9 in your Navamsa chart. But how will be different from the Scorpio rising? Because then you will say that Scorpio is the sign which represents transformation and endings and new beginnings, death and rebirth. Martian energy in itself, it contains that sort of an energy of transformation. So wherever your Aries sign is placed, it will show that kind of a little bit of transformation. But how will it be different from the Scorpio rising in your Navamsa chart? So the Aries rising is a one-way thing. Like you were someone before your marriage, and then you get into this marriage setup, and then things completely transform, and then you go on with that new life which you have adopted after your marriage. So this is something which we'll see. So basically the transformation is only one time thing for you, then you will go on with it. Your life will just carry on like a normal thing post marriage. But in the Scorpio rising it isn't so, but we'll be talking about that in the Scorpio rising video. So basically the thing with the Aries is that you were, let's say, a stockbroker before your marriage, and then you incurred a heavy loss. It is a transformation because of a bad reason. It can be also from a good reason, that you were a stockbroker, you had ample amount of money invested, and now you are fed up of that thing, taking risk every day. So you give up on that, and post marriage what you do is you become an educator and you start educating people about stock market. So this is a kind of transformation you will see with this Aries rising in your Navamsa chart. Now the second interesting thing which we have to note is that if you have Aries rising in your Navamsa chart, so you cannot be at any cost a water rising sign in your birth chart. Meaning if you are an Aries ascendant in your Navamsa chart, so you cannot be Cancer ascendant, Scorpio ascendant or Pisces ascendant in your birth chart. It is a very crucial point to note. Why? D9, when you're studying the Navamsa chart, is all about the transition, whatever the transition is happening. From what you are becoming, the fire of Aries is the most important thing to study with this rising, with any particular rising in your Navamsa chart. Basically, what it shows is that the fire of Aries has been developed from what kind of a transition, or from what kind of transition, like were you an air element rising in your birth chart, like Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, and you went into Aries rising in your Navamsa chart? So what it shows is that whatever you thought of in your birth chart, basically pre-marriage, I want myself to able to do this. We also take the 36 years of a person's age to be the activation age of the Navamsa chart. If you any person hasn't got married at that particular time, so basically 36 years of their age is taken to be the activation age of the Navamsa chart. So basically the Navamsa chart is so much activated from the birth itself, but the thing is that it is a 80-20% thing. 80-20% thing is that 80% is your birth chart and 20% is your Navamsa chart. And all other charts, which are the divisional charts, they still work with the moment you open your eyes on this world. They work, they are activated from that day, from that moment. At the 36 years of your age, Navamsa chart will be the thing which will be activated, because it is your soul. The soul is being represented in the Navamsa chart. If you are an air element rising in your birth chart, meaning Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and then you are transitioning into the fire of Aries, what it shows is that whatever you thought of in your early stages of your life, they will take shape in your life. How will they take shape? Whatever your goals, whatever your achievement, you wanted to do them, you wanted to achieve them since a very long time, and now you have that go-getter energy in yourself, which is the sign of Aries. It indicates, you have that passion in you, you have that fire in you, and you are that achiever, and you are competing for it. This is so how are you competing for it? Because you have ample amount of resources to compete to it. So basically what it shows is that Aries rising is a good thing, because you are being blessed, because after getting married, you are being blessed by something, by some energy, and your spouse is supporting you to achieve your dreams, to achieve your goals. That is why you are having that passionate energy of Aries in yourself, that go-getter energy. Now if you are transitioning from the fire element sign into a fire element sign, now the fire element sign are also different. Like the fire of Aries is very much different from the fire of Leo. The fire of Sagittarius is different. So if you are a Leo rising in your birth chart and then you became Aries rising in your Navamsa chart, so what it shows is that the Leo sign is a fixed sign, right? So your fire and your passion and your ego was very much fixed before marriage, and then your spouse came and he logically challenged you, and then you thought, yes, maybe he or she is saying correct, maybe they are right, maybe I was too much stern on my idea, on my thing, it was eventually harming me. So this is something which you will feel. So what you will do is you listen to others. You are competing for something, you have that passionate competitive energy in yourself, but you listen to the people who are close to you, who are your well-wishers, because your fire is now passionate and it is movable. So yes, if you take on a decision, you will talk that to your spouse or whoever you are close to in your life, and their suggestions you will definitely inculcate it into your activities, into the implementations of your decisions. You will want to inculcate it. This is how we study it. Now if you are if you are transitioning from Sagittarius to Aries, so what it shows is that you had that fire in you, you were that explorer, you were that adventurous soul in your life, but you were so much dual natured, like should I do this or not, will it be worth it or not, will it be good or not, am I on the right path or not? But now, because the fire of Aries is being supported by the Libra sign, which is falling in the 7th house of yours, so it indicates that your spouse is the pillar which is supporting your dual nature, which is eliminating that dual nature in your personality, that duality in your personality, that you have to stick to something, and whatever decision you take, you have taken it, and now it's a time to implement it. You cannot think now, was it right or not, will I be ending up into something profitable or not. This is not the time to think about all those things. Now you have to implement this. So this is how you study the transition part in the Navamsa, which is very important. Now, the very important thing to note here is if you are a Vargottam Lagna. Basically, if you have Aries rising in your birth chart also, and you have Aries rising in your Navamsa chart also. So what it shows is, because Aries is a movable sign, so it has blessings of Lord Brahma. He is the creator. So all the movable signs, they have the blessings of Lord Brahma. So what it shows is that whatever things you will get in your life will be because of creating something. It will be towards starting something new, and you will be blessed in those things, and you will find yourself fortunate in that. So this is also a thing which you'll see. It can also bestow you long life and a prosperous life. Vargottam Lagna is a good thing for every perspective in your life which is related to non-living karakas. Now we come on to the next part of the Vargottam, which is the marriage perspective. From the marriage perspective, Vargottam Lagna is not taken to be, a very good thing. Although it is a very prosperous thing, you will have that wealth, you will have that fortune in your life. But from the marriage perspective, it might be not so good. Why? Because Navamsa chart is the chart of two entities. It is not a single chart. It is showing that combining energy of you and your spouse. So you not changing yourself is something which can pose challenges in your marriage, right? You were Aries before marriage, and you are now again Aries after marriage also. So it can show certain disagreements in your married life with your spouse, because you haven't changed. You have to change. Like a guest, he or she comes for 2 days, to stay at our place. We have to adjust according to their sleep cycle, according to their habits. This is something which we see on a common basis, right? It is a transition of life. Now you are getting married to that person, and you will have to steer through all the challenges like a team. And now if you're sticking to your checklist that I am this and I do things like this, it won't help you in any way. It will create disagreements between spouse. So this is something which has to be analyzed by looking the whole Navamsa chart. What will be the intensity of this thing? It depends on the whole Navamsa chart. Now the other thing which is very important to note is that the Aries sign and all the fire element sign, they have this theme of Satyug in them. So what is this? So basically there are 4 dharma: Vishwa Dharma, Rashtra Dharma, Samaj Dharma, and Swadharma. Duty towards self. They are the signs which, or the planets sitting in these signs in your Navamsa chart, basically Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, will empower you to follow all the 4 dharmas in your life. Be it be malefic energy, a malefic planet, or a benefic planet. So what is the Vishwa Dharma? Vishwa Dharma is, you are someone who is taking curiosity, who is curious about the happenings in the world, around the globe. What is happening, what is not happening, what are the endangered species, or what is the climate change, global warming. All these things, they very much, you have interest in them, and they really alarm you. The second thing is, and you want to do work towards them. The second thing is that you will also do work towards your Rashtra. Rashtra is the nation. So you want to do something which contributes in any way towards your nation, contributing to your nation in any way. Having interest in politics, national politics, you definitely going to vote, because voting is a blessing, and that is something practical reality, because people who go to vote are the people who are blessed in their lives. They have ample amount of resources to think about the nation. That is why they are going to vote. They are going to cast their vote. So voting is a privilege, and this should be something very much clear and very much practical. It is not a duty anymore. In these times, it is a privilege. According to me, I consider it a privilege, not a duty. Second thing is that you will also work for your Samaj. Samaj is your society. So you would want your society to be, to become better. You would want to donate into the NGOs who are working towards the environment, who are working towards the education of the downtrodden people, who are cleaning environment and rivers, this sort of a thing. And you will also work towards your Swadharma. Swadharma is the duty to self, you and your family. So you would want to be the breadwinner. You would want to see your family happy and prosperous. So all these things will be, they'll be seen in your personality post marriage. You would want to do work in all the areas connected. So what it basically shows is that you have ample amount of resources, prosperity in your life. That is why you are trying to think beyond the limits, think beyond the boundaries, that it is not only me, it is also about the other people, about the nation, about the global issues that we should think about. So this is also an indication towards prosperity, you having fire signs in the trikona of your Navamsa chart. Now, because Mars is a malefic energy and it is your Lagnesh in the Navamsa chart, so basically it rules your first house. So, yes, you will see some challenges in your life post marriage, especially if you have this Vargottam Lagna. I won't deny it, but because it is the Mool Trikona sign of the Mars, which is falling in the first house of your Navamsa chart, which is the sign of Aries, you will have ample amount of energy and good spirit, will to fight all those challenges. So, this is also something which you will see with this placement. Now, the chart depends, the whole chart depends on the things which are to be seen. If your 4th, 7th or 10th house is occupied by malefic energies, malefic planets like Rahu, Ketu, Saturn, Sun is not taken as a malefic energy. So yes, it shows that your life and the living karika, basically your spouse, the relationship with your spouse might suffer. But for that, whole Navamsa chart and the birth chart has to be analyzed. I cannot say anything blindly. Also, the if your Mars is placed in the Kendra and basically 1, 4, 7th or 10th house, or in the Trikona houses 1, 5 or 9 houses, then it will have the ability to amplify the results. Now, what kind of results, bad or good, that again will depend on the whole chart, which we cannot judge by looking only to the rising. But basically, yes, being a Aries ascendant is a good thing, is a good placement, and it's a very promising placement, I must say. Yes, you will be able to thrive in your life post marriage. You will have ample amount of opportunities to grab, and if you grab them on time, then you can definitely have successful career, personal life, as well as your married life with this Aries rising in a Navamsa chart. Many people, they also ask me that if I have Mars placed in the 1, 4th, 7th, 8th or 12th house in my Navamsa chart, won't my kundli or my horoscope become Mangalik? But that has to be then again analyzed according to your birth chart. If you are Mangalik in your birth chart, or if you are Anshik Mangalik in your birth chart, then we'll come to the Navamsa chart to see what is happening further, Otherwise, it doesn't create that sort of Mangalik dosh in the Navamsa chart. So basically, Mangal dosh is seen from the birth chart, not from the Navamsa chart. Also, Mangal dosh is something which has to be, it is a separate topic, and there are so many myths which should be busted. I should also make a video on this in near future. So all kind of Aries qualities will be the base of your married life. Basically, athletics, sports, competition, starting something new, you and your partner starting something new together. Why is this so? Because the first house of your Navamsa chart is you engaging with your spouse in your marriage, and the first house of yours in the Navamsa chart is the 7th house of your spouse, because the first house of your spouse will be taken the 7th house of your Navamsa chart. So basically, he or she can have importance of Libra sign or Venus in their chart, but that is a different thing. But Aries is something which will be the perspective, the POV which your spouse will see this marriage setup with you. So what it will be, that he or she might also marry you because they find you an able competitor. You both will be able to fight something together, and you can win something together. You can also be achievers, athletic, whatever things the Aries sign indicates will be the base of your marriage, and it is also the sustenance of your marriage. So if anyhow Mars or Aries sign is afflicted in the birth chart of your or in your spouse, then it can also indicate challenges in your married life. So this is something important to see if you have this Aries rising in your Navamsha chart. So as you guys know, this is a perfect Kalpurushas Kundli, and all the allergies are totally, completely aligned to the relevance of the houses. So there is no need for explanation, I think, because then you can judge like the Taurus sign in the second house. So basically you will have ample amount of hoarded wealth in the form of jewelry, fixed assets, and also in the bank accounts. Also things would matter a lot according to the placement of Venus in your Navamsha chart. You can also see that you become very much humorous in your conversation post marriage, and chatty. You might have a chatty behavior, and you are more jovial in nature. You crack jokes more often after marriage. You will have a good emotional security in your home. Your home will be very much comfortable. You will be very much relaxed in your home. You will have that sort of motherly nourishment at your home post marriage. So this is a good indication of a good spouse. Your children will be very much creative. They will be very much outward. They will be having that aura and confidence in them. They will be bold, and they will have interest in politics. They can also have interest in politics as well. Your daily routines will be very much structured, organized, and you would want to nitpick problems or obstacles in your life. You would calculate it, you will analyze everything. And your spouse will have major Libra placements or major Venus placements in their chart. They will be very much balanced sort of a personality. You are the go-getter achiever, and they are so much balanced in nature. So this makes you a very good team. They won't be very much hot-headed sort of personality. They might be tall, they might be sensual, they might have fair to whitish complexion, that sort of a thing. Your in-laws can be so much mysterious. You can have hidden assets post marriage, you and your spouse together. Your married life will be very much masked. You won't love it to show publicly to the world, right? Like every now and then posting pictures on Instagram, not that sort of a thing. You might see religious inclination, and you might also go on foreign trips after marriage. You can also get into the gurus, the mentors who become mentors for your life. You follow them throughout the life, this sort of a thing. You can also have that sort of a spiritual awakening when you are traveling with your spouse after marriage. And you will also have that splurge of hard working at your career front, at your professional front, and you will want to work hard, and you will want to achieve things. Your recognitions will be very much unconventional. They will be totally in proportion to what you do. So if you do 100% hard work, you will get 100% of achievement or rewards. This is something. You can also have incoming gains from foreign resources in your life. That will also depend on the placement of Rahu in your Navamsha chart. And you can also get interested in the spiritual retreats post marriage. You and your spouse might want to visit such places, a spiritual sort of a healing concept or resort, that sort of a thing, or camp, for a meditation camp or that sort of a thing. So this is the basic structure of your life post marriage. Now the things will differ, and the colors would be added according to the placement of all the planets in your Navamsha chart. So this is how we decode the basic Aries rising in your Navamsha chart. So in conclusion, the two major things which we have to note is the transition, what element you are in your birth chart rising, air, earth or fire, and what you are transitioning into. This is the important thing which we have to study and look. Now the second important thing which is to be noted is, if you are not a Vargottam Lagna, so if you don't have Aries rising in your birth chart, and if you have Aries rising in your Navamsha chart but you don't have Aries rising in your birth chart, let's say it's a Virgo rising, your Virgo rising in your birth chart, it becomes very important for you to check where the Aries sign is falling in your birth chart. Then you will be able to encounter the reasons and the triggering point in your life through which the D9 will be getting activated, or the transformation which is being shown in the Navamsha chart will be activated. So this is very important to check where this Aries sign, which is the rising in your Navamsha chart, is falling in the birth chart of yours if you are not a Vargottam Lagna. So if let's say it is falling in the 5th house of yours, so Aries is falling in the 5th house of yours, and you are a Sagittarius rising in your demon chart, what does it show is that because of the maybe you got into a college and you studied there and you fell in love with someone, and now you are entering into marriage through a love relationship. So this is something which will be shown. Or if it is a transition because of a bad reason, so the example which I stated before, that you were a great stockbroker, you had that wit in stock market, but suddenly something happened and you lost a huge amount of sum in the speculative market, and now you are entering into the marriage setup. So the fifth house karakas will be seen whenever you will be getting married if the Aries sign is falling in the, let's say, fifth house of your birth chart. So this is how we study the Navamsa chart. Also, if you want to know where your Aries sign is falling in the birth chart, what kind of reasons it can suggest, it can indicate, which will be the triggering point for the activation of your Navamsa chart, you can check the playlist below of the birth chart rising, D1 chart rising. So this is how we decode the Navamsa chart. If you like the content, do not forget to like this video and share it with your friends and family. And if you regularly want to see such amazing content on astrology, do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you.